Hey guys, this is Melissa from the House of Plaid Fuzz, and today I'm going to be answering some questions from the Homemaker tag. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new content, and if you're not, welcome back. Today I have kind of a fun video. I'm participating in a collaboration with a bunch of other great YouTube channels, and we are answering questions from the Homemaker tag. These are 20 questions just regarding staying at home. If you have been watching me for a while, you know that I recently quit my career of 20 years around Thanksgiving, and I've been staying at home ever since. So I thought this would be kind of fun to explore this new phase of my life. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link to the playlist of all the other videos in the description box below. So make sure you check that out because I think it's been very interesting to see how differently everyone answers these questions. So I have them on my phone here. So if I keep looking down, that's why I'm just referencing the questions. So let me get on with this here. The first question is, have you ever had anyone say anything negative about you staying at home / working from home? Not really. Like I said, I'm fairly new to this, and I worked way more than full-time for most of my career, so I don't think most people could accuse me of being lazy. My husband has made some comments that we needed to discuss, like, you know, well, you don't have a job or whatever, or you don't work. It's like, yeah, I do. But I don't think those necessarily came from a place of like meaning to be negative. It's just, we needed to work on the verbiage a little bit. Okay. Question number 2 is, what is your favorite / least favorite part of staying home or working from home? My favorite part is twofold. One is not having to generally get up at a set time. For the first time in my life, I can pretty much sleep until I wake up naturally. I woke up at 5:30 for the better part of 20 years. So that's been definitely a treat. And I would say my second favorite part is not having to drive in bad weather. The older I get, the less I like driving in the cold and snow. And here in the Midwest, I think we've had at least 1 to 4 inches of snow every single day for the past 7 days. And that's on top of a foot of snow that we already had on the ground. And I don't think I've left. I don't think I've left the house that entire time, which to some people might seem like a negative. To me, that's a definite positive. The negative would be is that I find it's really hard for me to be productive or kind of find my groove without having outside forces kind of shaping my schedule. And that's something I'm working out. I think the longer I stay at home, the more I'm figuring this out. But just right off the bat, it was really difficult for me to be productive. Just time management was an issue, I guess I'll say. So question number 3 is, what is your favorite / least favorite chore? I think my favorite chore is probably vacuuming. And it's not even so much that I just love vacuuming. I don't hate it, but I'm just very particular about how I like it done. So I don't let anyone else vacuum. I do that. I also do like decluttering. I don't know if that can be considered a chore, but I find it very satisfying to, you know, take a cluttered space and shrink it down to where it makes sense for that space. My least favorite chore is definitely cleaning the bathroom. I injured my back about a year ago, and I find like bending over to like scrub out the tub or even to clean the toilet is difficult for me. It can be even painful. So thankfully I make my husband do it. But you know, husbands, just their level of clean is not the same as ours. Yeah, my bathroom is just, yeah, all around a bone of contention for me. So question number 4 is, what time do you wake up / go to bed? A lot of the other people participating in this tag probably have smaller children at home. I do not. My stepsons are obviously our youngest kids. They're almost 10, and we predominantly have them in the summer. So I generally don't get up until like 8:30. Sometimes even later than that, just depending. Going to bed just depends. We've had a really weird schedule lately because I have been really sick for the past 6 weeks, and I'm just now finally getting back to normal. And so I was sleeping kind of around the clock for a lot of that. Generally, I would say I'm probably go to bed around midnight. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later. During the summer, we definitely go to bed pretty late. So yeah, I would say my answer is I go to bed about midnight, get up about 8:30. Question number 5. Do you put anything on in the background while you clean / work / cook, like TV, radio, podcast. I don't turn the TV on during the day because I find I'm more likely to sit down and watch it. I know some people like just the background noise, but turning the TV on is like the kiss of death for any productivity for me. I'm a big introvert. I'm just not someone that has to constantly have music or anything on, and that can actually really kind of jumble my thoughts. I like music, but it's just I don't listen to it a lot during the day. Lately I found I do like to listen to podcasts while I'm working, or even cleaning, which is odd because you would think that'd be really distracting for me as I'm trying to write, but for some reason it's just enough noise to kind of block out everything else, yet I can stay focused. So that's kind of strange. But question number 6 is, do you get dressed most days or stay in your pajamas? That depends on how you look at it. Pretty much around the clock, 24/7, I wear like a t-shirt. If it's cold, I'll put a sweater on over the t-shirt and like sweatpants. So kind of pajamas, but I do try to get up in the morning and like put on clean clothes at least, and you know, do some makeup. I don't honestly, like I curled my hair today and like it's already falling out, so I don't really spend a lot of time on my hair, which is sad for someone who's a hairstylist for 20 years. Usually I just put it up in a messy bun, but I kind of wear pajama-ish clothes, but I do at least try to do a little something with myself every day. Question number 8 is, what is your trouble zone or area in your home that needs the most help? I think we already covered that, the bathroom. I am a longtime minimalist, and I also have OCD, so I tend to think in very absolute terms. So really, I don't have trouble areas in my house that gather clutter or things like that. But the bathroom, a lot of that is just some of my aversions, and also just having my back injury has been hard for me to keep up on. I've had people laugh at me. They're like, oh my God, your house is always clean. But just for me, for my level of how I like it, I would say the bathroom is the trouble area. We do also have a front porch where people take off their boots and stuff when they come in. That can kind of be, like I have a little dresser thing out there, and sometimes people think that is like an open invitation to sit things on it, or you know, we get too many shoes out there, but that's not too bad. Question number 9 is, how often do you find yourself getting distracted? A lot, actually. Like I already touched on, one of my biggest struggles since I have stayed at home is just finding my productivity groove, and I'm getting better with that. But I know a lot of people are surprised to find that someone who has, you know, is so into planners, that I can tend to be really disorganized. And like there's a reason that I'm so, I guess, obsessive about planning and keeping things on track, and it's because it doesn't come naturally to me. So yes, a lot. I get distracted, but I am getting better with that. Question number 10, do you enjoy staying home or do you miss going to a job every day? For the most part, I definitely enjoy staying home. I am just a homebody. I'm an introvert. I've always been pretty domestic, I guess, so I do enjoy staying home. What I really do miss, though, is my clients. Like I said, I was a hairstylist, so my job all day was just basically like talking to friends and doing their hair. And so I miss that. I don't know, you know, I mean, a lot of them I've kept in touch with like on Facebook or whatever, but we just don't have that close relationship like we used to. So I think maybe I just need to call someone and go to coffee or something and kind of get my like adult socialization fix in. 11, what is your never-ending chore? On one hand, I feel like I have a lot of those. I have a teenager who really should be a big help with cleaning, but she's not. I always say she's like, she's kind of like Pigpen on the Peanuts cartoon. Like it's just like this cloud of destruction follows her from room to room. So I feel like, honestly, I don't mean to call my child a chore, but she's my never-ending chore, picking up after her. And you know, I've gotten a lot of advice from people, and I mean, I swear we've tried everything. She's just not naturally a neat person. She's very creative, and obviously I'm the polar opposite of that. So to a certain degree, I've just kind of learned to embrace it and choose my battles. Question number 12 is, what is your favorite way to relax or have me time? I don't know if it's my favorite way, but I would say a lot of how I relax is watching TV at night. That's something my husband and I do, like when he's off work, is we'll catch up on our shows. I love to read. My husband works nights, so a lot of times when he's not home, what I'll actually do is read. And when the weather's nicer, I like spending time outside. We're actually getting just a small pool this summer for the kids, so I think that'll be a lot of fun. I think we'll spend most of this summer in our backyard. Question number 13 is, how often does your husband chip in? A lot, and I would say probably a lot more than most husbands. There is a little catch-22 to that before you get too jealous, but let me compliment him before I insult him here. He, especially since I injured my back and since I've been so sick, he does help a lot. He does almost all of our laundry because our washer and dryer is in the basement, so with my back it's hard for me to carry laundry baskets up and down. And honestly, sometimes it's even hard for me to do stairs when my back is really bad. So honestly, he does probably 75% of our laundry. He'll do anything I ask him to. Like if I ask him, I have him, we have a wooden staircase that's right here beside me. And it's hard for me to go up the stairs carrying things. So he cleans that for me almost every week. He does do a lot around the house. Really anything I ask him. He'll even do dishes. But he thinks he does the majority of the cleaning around here. We used to get in mega fights over this, like when we were first married, and I have learned to just smile and nod. I know a lot of my friends, their husbands do not help as much as mine do, so I'll just smile and nod and let him think that he does most of the housework. That's a small price to pay for how much he does help me out, I guess. Now, question number 14 is, if you have kids, when do you find the time to do chores? Again, my kids are, 9 and 16. So, they're doing chores too. Not as many as I feel they should, but, they're all pretty easily able to entertain themselves. So that's not a real issue for me. When they were younger, I just don't ever remember it being that much of an issue. And maybe I am just forgetting a lot, but, I guess I've always taught my kids to be fairly independent and be able to entertain themselves a little bit. So I never had a huge issue with that. Question number 15 is, how do you balance being a homemaker and creating YouTube content? This is a double-edged sword for me because I have been blogging for about 10 years and just recently added this YouTube channel. And it's a lot. Blogging is kind of a full-time job, and really a YouTube channel can also be a full-time job. In that way, I am blessed to have a teenager. She helps me a lot with like setting up my lighting and my equipment and stuff. Holding the dogs if they're barking while I'm trying to record, and things like that. But I am struggling to find a balance with that. I feel like I neglected my blog for a long time, and was working on my YouTube channel. But again, I feel like I'm finding a little bit of a balance to that. Since I have stayed home, first of all, we had the holidays, my stepsons were here, and then ever since the holidays, I've been sick. So I feel like this is kind of my first normal stretch of time where I'm actually able to get in a groove. So I think, given a little bit more time, I think I'll get that down pretty well. Question number 16 is, what is your favorite room in your home, and why? Honestly, because we bought our first house about 1.5 years ago. It was built in 1925. We live in a small city, but I like to say it's an old Iowa farmhouse, because that's really what it is. It looks like a farmhouse. It's got a lot of the same issues that these old farmhouses have, but we're very slowly making it our own. I spend a lot of time in the living room. We do have a nice sized living room, and there's a window where I can look right out in the front. I do like that. Aesthetically, I really like my dining room. I would like to paint it still, but I just like how it's really open. The light is nice in there in the afternoon. I don't know. I guess I don't really have a favorite room. I like this little office nook. This is where I painted the one wall black. I guess I don't really have a good answer to that. I guess I just don't really have a favorite room. Question number 17 is, what is your least favorite room in your home and why? we've covered this, it is the bathroom. Not only because like I just have a hard time keeping up in there, but it is the one room in the house that really does need to be remodeled. It's not in our budget right now. We only have one bathroom in this house for 5 people, and it's really small. A lot of people have bigger closets than our bathroom is, but really like the shower and tub area, you can tell like there was a lot of DIY stuff done to this house before we bought it. You can tell they installed that themselves and they didn't do a good job of it. Our tub actually is like dented and it's just a hot mess in there. We would love to pull that out and do some tile. The flooring is a hot mess. The subfloor needs replaced in there. It's just, yeah, it needs some major work. Question number 18. Do you feel your home reflects your personal style? Why or why not? Yes and no. I think it's definitely getting there. Like I said, we have done a lot of like painting and just, you know, kind of putting some of our personal touches on it. But it was neglected for a long time. It needs a lot of work. We're just slowly working on that. But I feel like it does. I mean, like I said, I'm pretty minimal. I kind of like farmhouse, but I like a really minimal farmhouse look. And I think it does. I mean, I'm not ashamed of my home in any way. There's a lot of things I like. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. But it's not going to happen overnight. And I like our home the way it is. So I would say yes, but there's still a lot of my personal touches that I have yet to add. Question number 19 is, what does your home smell like? That is a loaded question. I think it probably just smells clean. I hope it doesn't smell like my dogs. I'm like kind of psychotic about that. I do have a candle that sits on my desk that it's like cedar and vetiver maybe scented. And I get a lot of comments on that when I burn that candle. But I'm not a big candle person. I'll link a blog post up above here that I did about why I don't burn a lot of candles, and the ones I do burn I'm really particular about. Sometimes we diffuse essential oils, but I'm not as crazy about that as some people. So I think it just probably smells clean. Maybe it smells like a candle. Question number 20, the last question here is, what is your strong point and weak spot when it comes to homemaking? I think that my strong point is definitely like decluttering / minimalism. I like to think that our home, I mean, there's always going to be room for improvement of things you can declutter, but we're fairly minimal here. And honestly, like I don't spend a ton of time cleaning because I don't have a ton of crap to clean and there's not a bunch of junk to mess the house up with. So I would definitely say that's my strong point. I think my weak point is A, my back injury, and B, my gag reflex. They're like my bathroom that I keep bringing up. I would like that to be a lot cleaner. You know, I'd really like to go give that a deep clean, but with my back, I can't. And there's just some things that my OCD takes over and like, I just can't. So thankfully, my husband has no gag reflex. So I guess we complement each other nicely there. So there you have it. There are my 20 questions about being a homemaker. Like I said, I'm going to link this whole playlist in the description box below. So make sure you check out everyone else's videos. I know everybody worked hard on these, so go check them out and let them know what you thought. I'm also going to link my blog, my social media, all that good stuff below. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.